Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. I want to talk about the secondary today, Luke, as we kind of get closer to training camp. Marshon Lattimore is going to be in the fold. Your expectation from him?
Well, I mean, I think as long as he's healthy, I think he's still a really good player. And that's just really the only problem with him. I think that's probably why the Saints didn't move him this offseason, because they know he's a really good player. They know he's still got a lot of value, but he's played, 17 games the last two seasons. The guy's got to get on the field to show what he can do. And I still think that when he is on the field and when he is playing, he gives you somebody that can take away the other team's top receiver. You can move the rest of your coverage away from him and just kind of let him go be on his own. It's like highly valuable. And I think he's really motivated just by the last 2 years, by the fact that there were even trade rumors about him this offseason. He's got to kind of rebuild his reputation. I mean, before the injuries started getting hit, he was pretty widely considered one of the best young corners in the league. And I don't think that's true anymore. So, not that he's not one of the best still, but I just think that people don't think of him that way. So, I think this is an important season for him. And look, if he plays well, if he stays healthy, that's good for Marshon Lattimore. It's potentially good for the Saints beyond this season. I mean, he's a huge part of what they're going to do this year.
It's time for hypotheticals. It's the middle of July. Hypothetically, this is a really difficult start for the Saints. They come out of the blocks and aren't very good at all. Is there a scenario where Marshon Lattimore is tradable in season?
So I think in a vacuum, yes. If he's showing he's still a top flight corner, he's healthy, a team that, has a need pop up that feels like it can win a Super Bowl, yes. I just don't know if the Saints are going to be like in that sort of sell mode. Yeah, it is a really difficult stretch to open the season, but like really difficult stretch, and they go through a bad run. Like, I mean, Dennis Allen's going to be feeling a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to have, he currently does have say on personnel matters. So, if they just start 1-4 and start selling off pieces, I think, that's probably not a good sign for Dennis Allen. Because that means the organization's like, well, you had your shot. So I think probably not. It makes sense in a vacuum. I just don't think you can look at it that way.
Do you believe that the Saints personnel department, all the folks that make those decisions, believe that Paulson Adebo will one day be a number one corner for New Orleans?
I think the Adebo situation is a little bit tougher than the Lattimore one. He was really good as a rookie. He was really, really good last year. He probably should have been a Pro Bowler last year. And then sandwiched in between that, he was kind of off. He was playing through some injuries, but he was not the player they were expecting him to be in 2022. So I think there's a little bit more variance there, and I'm not sure if he's like the guy who you can be like you're a 1-for-1 replacement for Marshon Lattimore. Like, I don't think he's going to travel with the other team's top receiver. Not necessarily a necessity, but it's really nice to have. And when you look at some of these contracts that have been signed by corners who are, you're not like tip top of the market, like Jalen Ramsey a couple of years ago where he's resetting the market, or Marshon Lattimore a couple of years ago. But like guys like Jalen Johnson for the Chicago Bears, that's a pretty good comp. They're about the same size. They both play outside corner. They both had similar seasons. Jalen Johnson went to the Pro Bowl last year. Jalen Johnson signed a 4-year, $76 million contract. So, I think when you're looking at those two, when you're looking at Lattimore and Adebo, if you're the Saints, you're like, okay, can we keep both of them? Probably not. Do we want to keep Lattimore, who's, still, I think, under contractual control for another 3 years at that rate, but a little bit more injury history, a little bit older? Or do you want to keep Adebo and try to trade Lattimore, and then just instead of having the like ace top corner who's going to match up with Devontae Adams and A.J. Brown and Mike Evans and all that stuff. You're kind of more of like the traditional look where you just got three good players. They got Julian McKinstry waiting in the wings. I think one of those two players that we're talking about between Lattimore and Adebo is going to be gone to get McKinstry on the field. I just don't know. Like, I wish I had insight in the way the Saints thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting piece. There's some depth here, which is not necessarily the case around the roster. Alante Taylor's a guy that we haven't talked about. What was your assessment of his play last year?
I mean, it was really up and down. And I think Alante Taylor's a really good player, but they asked him to do a really difficult thing. They basically went into training camp saying, we don't know what your role is going to be. You're going to compete for the outside corner job with Adebo. When he lost it, they were like, okay, we're going to release Bradley Roby, who's this veteran slot corner who knows what he's doing there, and we're just going to play you on the inside and let you figure it out. And I mean, it doesn't take like a football X's and O's genius to understand that that's a lot harder to do if you're not used to playing on the inside. Because when you're playing on the outside, you've got like the sideline as an extra defender to help. On the inside, I mean, you're just in space. So I think he's struggled with that sometimes. And he's a really aggressive player, and he's struggled with some of the run fit stuff. It's why he got benched late in the year, and he got back in the lineup, got benched again. It's just there's a big learning curve. But I think the fact that he's been able to, he had that whole experience last year, and then he's been able to train this offseason knowing that he is their starting slot corner. I think that will really help. And I'm honestly expecting a lot of improvement out of him this year.
Is Jordan Howden ready for the prime time?
It's interesting. Part of me thinks they're just not done at safety because they have Tyrann Mathieu, who's a very good starting option, a very good starting player, even if he's limited in some parts of playing the position. I think he's still upper echelon. And then, strong safety, you have Jonathan Abram, who has significant liability in coverage. You got Jordan Howden, who's really, really up and down as a rookie when he's asked to play a lot of snaps. And then you got like a lot of guys out there who were Pro Bowlers last year who are still unsigned. And the Saints have $12 million in cap space. I mean, it just seems like an obvious spot to go address like a weaker spot on your roster, unless they feel comfortable trusting Jordan Howden in that position. But when we're looking at the team lining up in OTAs and in minicamp, they're kind of trading guys in and out. A lot of times it was Jonathan Abram in the starting 11. And then, they get into sub defensive packages or nickel or dime or whatever, and they put Jordan Howden in. And it's like, that doesn't really seem like a viable solution to just to trade the guys out depending on what package you're in. So I don't know. I don't know if Jordan Howden's ready to be the starting safety. I could be wrong on that, but just based on the way they've lined up, it just seems like that's not the case right now.
Would you call the secondary the strength of the team?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the strong safety thing notwithstanding, you're 4 deep at corner. You've got still a really good, smart, strong leader in Tyrann Mathieu at free safety. I think that's a strength of the team, offense and defense. They're really, really talented there. They're deep there. They've even got some like interesting guys kind of waiting in the wings who we don't really know a lot about. But I mean, like last year, they just plugged a special teams guy in there who'd been bounced around the league and been with like 4 teams. And Ike Yadam had a really nice season as a cover corner and signed a free agent deal with San Francisco. I think they're good at identifying talent there and guys who fit their scheme and their system. And if for whatever reason Marshon Lattimore or Paulson Adebo or Alante Taylor or Julian McKinstry get hurt, I think they're able to plug guys in there and not have this huge drop off. 100%, deepest unit on the team. And I think it has potential at corner especially to be one of the better units in the NFL if Marshon Lattimore stays healthy, if Paulson Adebo doesn't drop off, if Alante Taylor takes a leap in his second year as a slot corner. They could be really, really good there.
What's your travel schedule like out to California? When are you heading that way?
Well, the Saints were considered enough to have the report day be my 8th anniversary, so I'm flying out on that day for a month. Thankfully, my wife is very understanding of the travel requirements of my job, so we're going to celebrate the day before our anniversary.
There you go. Well, enjoy the rest of your time up there in Wisconsin. Safe travels back, and we'll talk next week as we get ready for camp.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.